Oh, am I live? Hey,
Yeah.
I think I might be live. Can you check it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, it's very delayed.
Oh.
Am I live? Am I live?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I think I might be live. Can you check it? All right, let's see. So if I'm alive, there should be, yo, we early. Rynan, how do you say your name, Rynan? Welcome. Wow, it's very delayed. I've been stressing about the OBS setup of this. I haven't streamed in like 4 years, so. Heck yes. Saturdays, maybe. I should probably mute the stream. Okay. Can you hear me okay? I have like four's an exaggeration, 2 or 3 different windows of myself at different delay frequencies. It's kind of confusing. All right. Hey, chat. Welcome. I don't even know why I'm chatting. I can just speak. Like why, but say it like Rye. Okay. Rynan. Nice. Like kind of like exactly like you said. All right. So, welcome to the live stream. You're not going to be able to shut that. Welcome to the live stream. My wife is the referee. She's checking the sound. Maybe a bit quiet. Okay. Let's see. I'll turn my mic up, and then can you hear? How's the volume here? I've got Burn on Reentry pulled up here. And I think I got OBS to like sidechain compress the Ableton to my voice, so hopefully when I speak, it ducks. It's weird because in OBS it says like I'm not signed in, but I can also see the chat in OBS, so clearly I am signed in. I'm streaming. All right, so I guess I'm just gonna start. I'm a little early. Maybe I can give people 5 more minutes. Any other notes on sound? I've also got my prologues hooked up. Sweet. Can you hear the prologue? This was one of the first songs I made for the record. This one, I think Lyra started first. Also, I need to stop looking at myself in OBS and look at the camera. If I look at anything other than Ableton. I was listening to a lot of Niels Fromm. I mean, I still listen to a lot of Niels Fromm, but he's got a side project called Non-Keen. And the whole first half of this was inspired by that group. I kind of like that this track is divided in 2. And I named it Burn on Reentry because it's like the whole space theme of the album, and then you're kind of floating out in space in the first half, and then you kind of come on re-entry more towards like the pop side of things. So let's see. I guess I'm just gonna start. I know we're a little early. Welcome. I can't see how many people are in OBS. Let me pull up. Looks like we got 5 people. So welcome everybody. Feel free to interact. Happy to take questions. Hey Gabe, welcome. So if you have any questions or want to talk about anything, happy to talk. I've got the chat pulled up, so let me crack open a monster. I'll shut up here. Play out the rest of the song. Any Monster Blue lovers? It's been a constant in my life. Oh shit. No sense were damaged. All right, so that is Burn on Reentry. I guess my plan is to just kind of go backwards through the album, kind of talk a little bit about my process. I actually started to do this as like a video. In case you haven't been to my YouTube channel in a while, I have been doing. Oh, I love the light blue ones. I can never find them anymore. Oh, I see them all the time. Where are you at, Gabe? I have noticed they've started pushing more of the 0. It's like the green ones, but it's 0, which are good, but I still prefer the light blue. Those like 6 carbs or whatever it is make all the difference for the flavor. Hey Lisa, good morning. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. Welcome. Michigan, hell yes. I'm from Iowa originally, so fellow Midwesterner. What was I just talking about? I was talking about something before I got on the monster tangent. On my YouTube channel, I've been posting a bunch of videos about, or like doing fun jams, like long form jams. It's hard. I haven't yet figured out how to like do all of the loop back with the computer and the synths. So I either have to like basically do everything in the box with Ableton with like soft synths, or do everything only on the hardware. And I can't mix them. I mean, I can when I'm actually producing, but when I'm trying to like stream it in a video form, I'm getting weird feedbacks. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But anyways, if you haven't checked my YouTube channel out in a while, I've been doing some jams on all my synths over here, which I created a lot of this album with these synths. So in the past, I've been doing a lot of, I started on GarageBand, went to Logic, been on Ableton for like 10 years, 8 years maybe. And that's great. DAWs are where it's at. It's like all the power. It's how I finish everything. But it's been really fun to get out of the box and start doing more, sequencing of synths. And I love the Electron sequencers. And then I've got an Oxy one over here you can't see. But it's been fun making this record. So you'll see as I go through each of these, and we can break down any of these that you want. There's a lot more audio files than I have shown in the past. I think I've done a couple live streams like 4 years ago where I was basically entirely using VSTs. I still use a lot of VSTs. I use Omnisphere a lot, and Pigments I've been using lately. Serum 2 I just picked up after not using Serum for a little while. I use that a lot, like on False Work and Purpose, but not as much since then. But anyways, you'll see there's a lot of audio files. So let's see. Thank you, Rynan. Yep. Thanks to Fox Stevenson. Yep. I released my first album, Past Hypothetical, and then I was trying to basically just send it to different places and trying to get traction. And I sent it to him, and then he liked it, and we connected, and then I released on Cloudhead for my 2 EPs. Nice. Lisa also found me through him. Yep. So you guys are probably older fans then, because I haven't talked to Stan directly in a little while, but I haven't released on Cloudhead since Purpose, which was like 9 years ago now, which is crazy. So anyways, I'll just start breaking it down. And yeah, so we've got, I'm going to go backwards. This is Burn on Reentry. So let's see. I usually have, you can see there's a lot of one hits. This is how I usually do my drums. So the drums don't really come in until the latter half of the song. You can see I don't label much. I'm trying to get better at that. I don't know, like I'm a very manic producer. So like I just go with in the moment and I try to just capture everything as quickly as I get it. And I don't take the time to like organize and color code as much as I should. So there's that. But so what do we got? So this is an audio file. I'm pretty sure this was the LXR, which is basically like a mono synth. And I sequenced it with the Oxy. And so you can hear this as a polyrhythm. Or at least it is because I'm chopping it up. Let's see if the actual sequence is. It might be. You can see there's some reverb. So what I think this was, you hear that little reverb tail? Swelling in, and then it cuts out. So I probably ran that through the a reverb pedal. And then just recorded it. And I did that on a lot of tracks. You'll notice that trend. This little white noise thing, there's a lot of that going on. I think that's run through the LXR. You can see back here, or not the LXR, the Lyra, which is what the song Lyra is named after. It's got a really good delay and distortion built in, so I run a lot of stuff through it. And you can hear there's kind of those delays on this white noise. It's kind of, it breaks up. And that's also a theme of this record is like, I like the imperfections of hardware synths and getting a take rather than programming in, you know, the exact sequence on a VST and having it execute it 100% every time. I kind of like the permanence of like recording a synth and getting it on audio, and that's what you got. And yeah, I cut it up and everything, but I really like that commitment. Yeah, it's my wife, Emily. I guess I don't tell her everything that I'm doing in the studio all the time. So yes, it was named after Lyra. So anyways, here's another weird thing. Again, sequenced the LXR, ran it through the Lyra. I can just tell from the sound of it. So yeah, I mean, the whole concept of this is like, you're kind of floating in space, and then we're gonna burn on reentry and come back to more of like a beat, you know. Let's see. This is the Lyra. Something run through it. How's the volume, by the way? Is Ableton loud enough? Yes, I agree, Lisa. It definitely is more organic. Plus, it's just more fun. It's way more fun to just like, it feels like you're like recording a piano, like, or recording a guitar. It's just, you're recording a moment in time rather than a perfectly recreatable, you know, project, basically. So anyways, I love this little drop. It's probably one of my favorite parts on the record. I love all the drums here. Slash that little melodic thing. This is the prologue. I tried when so another thing is like another challenge with hardware is that when you record it, if you want to like go back and like tweak it, it's hard to do that because you've committed to the audio. So I didn't do it in this case. I can tell this is a prologue patch, but I'll generally try to like rename the tracks. Again, I don't always do it in the moment, but I try to name it on the patch number. So like prologue 57, that's going to be prologue 57. That bass, so if I go to prologue 57, I probably tweak this. Yeah. So this patch is entirely a resonant filter. Without the resonance, it's just white noise. Oh, there we go. Anyways, we don't need to get into patch design right now, but yeah. Anything else on this song? I don't think so. I love this song. I think, like I said earlier, it was the second song I think on the album behind Lyra. Yes, I do play video games. I play too many video games. I play Hunt Showdown a lot, which is a shooter. Play that with my brother. I've been playing Persona 5, which is great, but I'm getting a little burnt out on it. I just beat the 4th palace, which is Futaba, and I'm like in the in-between now, between the next palace. Waiting for Arc Raiders to save me from my Hunt addiction. My brother and I are both sick of Hunt. It's a great game, but we want to move on to something else. Played Helldivers with some buddies for a while. Played Monster Hunter with some buddies. Yeah, been playing video games for a long time. Yeah, I want it to dip softer, but if it's too much, let me know and I can adjust the sidechain. As someone who doesn't own any production software, most of this, in the past, I've used a lot of add-ons, but like, I would highly recommend Ableton, because all of the, at least a lot of, all of the synths inside it are good. Let's see. I guess we can show. Also, is the screen too small? I think it's in 4K. So if it's too hard to see all of this stuff, I can maybe change the resolution. But you can see I've saved everything. So if we're talking about Ableton, so Collision, I love. I mean, heck, I'm not going to save this. So why don't we open Collision? This is a really fun one. It's basically a physical modeling synth. Let me turn down the prologue. So it's got like belly type stuff. So it's great for that kind of stuff. That's a native synth included in the purchase. The Drift is another one. I haven't used Drift much. I think that's new to Ableton 12, I believe, and I haven't used it much. What else? Simpler, that's a sample-based thing. Treetone is really fun. That's a Max for Live device. So if you have, what Max for Live is if you have Ableton Studio, I believe, so not the light version, but the regular, you can download Max for Live devices, which I think are basically like third-party developed native devices. So you can basically, there's a lot more synths that you can get for free. And I think they're all free. Not all free. Some of them are charged, but a lot of them are free. So even outside of the default Ableton synths, there's more you can download. Anyways, Meld. I love Meld. This is like a good, speaking of like hardware synths and just like subtractive synthesis, this is a really good synth. It's relatively simple in a good way. You've got A and B, so you've got two oscillators. You can change the envelopes separately for each. Dual filters. I think you can pan. Yep. Which is also really nice. I love stereo. What else? High pass, low pass. I'm getting into the weeds here a little bit. Let's just finish up on this topic of Ableton. Omnisphere and Pigments, I use those both a lot. Those are not native Ableton plugins, but those are both really good. Well worth the purchase price, in my opinion. Omnisphere is a little expensive, but it's got so many samples. It's a great synth. It's good for like more organic type stuff. It's got a lot of great recorded sounds like bells and marimbas and that kind of thing. And then Random Metal. This is a really fun one, actually. So I don't know if anybody saw on my Instagram post, but I actually have, I'm not going to reveal too much, but I've been working a lot on more new material. And I'm not going to go too much in depth, but it's all vocals and it's some of my best work. And the reason I brought that up is because I've been using this a ton. And this is like a sweet synth. It's basically just like a tweaker's wet dream. So you've got this XY pad essentially, which you can see it changes different things. And it's great for like one shots. So like in my drums, if we go back to this, you'll hear there's just a lot of weird sounds. And it's great to create your own with something like this plugin. So you can even do ADSRs. You can tweak all this manually, but it's fun to like have a MIDI sequence playing, and as you're doing that, tweak it and just record it to audio. You know what? Why not? Why don't I share something I'm working on? Why not? Live a little. Let's see, which one has random in it? We could do Bloom. I'm not sure if Bloom has. Anyways, Burn on Reentry, folks. That's all I'm going to talk about that one. All right, let's, while this is loading, let's go back to the chat. Super Mario 64, baby. Yep. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm not saying that MIDI is bad. I mean, MIDI's like possibly the greatest invention ever after maybe like the Kleenex or something. But yeah, MIDI's great. Ableton is great. FL's also great, I've heard. Thank you for putting it on loop, Second Flight. Hey, by the way, welcome, Second Flight. Did I miss anybody else that joined? No, I think I said hi to everybody else. All right. So this is one of my newer songs. I'm not going to say how many I've got. Do I have? Oh, you probably can't hear that because I need to do loop back. It's also kind of loud for me. Close to you. Can you hear that? Turn the page over with me. Let's leave this behind us. Try to restore sympathy. So there's I'm not going to spoil too much of this, but let's see if I've got any random in here. And like I said, I usually record it straight to audio, so you're not always going to see. Yeah, I guess. Oh, here's one. So I probably record... Is that it here at the end? Yep. So this is random. Is it loud enough? It's like super soft for me. You did not hear a little Yosh. I have not sampled Yoshi. So this is random. It's fun to like play it and tweak it. Anyways. Take a good look around the room. Growing from the ground and destined to bloom. Pockets of sun and people you keep close to you. Come and stay with me. You know you're welcome to. I hope you stay for a while. What will we get into? Anyways, I'm just really excited about the vocal stuff. I know that the instrumental, I mean, I'm not known. People who like were introduced to me through Fox, obviously, it was like vocal stuff. So I know that the ambient and the instrumental stuff isn't for everybody. So thank you for being faithful if it's not your bag. I promise there's a lot of great vocal stuff on the way that I'm super excited about. So anyways, back to celebrating my new albums that are out now, not the future. We're going to be in the present. So let me go back. Let's go backwards. So that was Burn on Reentry, and I'm just gonna Men in Black you right now. You didn't hear any of that vocal stuff, all right? It doesn't exist. All right, so we're gonna go back just out of frame. In fact, why don't I just do that? Your memory has been wiped. All right. Heck yes. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with like instrumental, like the ambient stuff and Peripheries. You can either listen to it in the background. I love listening to ambient in the background, but I will also say like it's also a good active listening exercise, because I guess just specifically talking about ambient music, like it's very like slow evolving and stuff. Obviously it's ambient, but it's a good exercise to like, kind of like with yoga. I don't know if anybody does yoga. I love yoga, but it's kind of an exercise in recentering yourself in the present. Like when you do yoga, everybody does this. Your mind drifts off, right? So like you start thinking about what you got to do and all this other bull crap that you don't want to do and that you have anxiety about. The whole practice of yoga is to like recenter in the present and just focus on breathing, or, you know, focus on what your feet are doing or whatever. And I feel like ambient is in that same mind space where, you know, you can put it on in the background and there's nothing wrong with that. I do that all the time, but it's also really nice to just like focus on it and like focus on what's happening in the music, because it is so minimalist that it's easy for your mind to wander, but it's a good exercise to like, you know, recenter or whatever. Anyways, that's my little spiel about ambient music. Whoa. All right. Again, loop back. Hopefully you can hear this. Windows blocked it? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Ryan. Most of the synths in this are the prologue. Yep, 157, 249. This is another polyrhythm example. There's polyrhythms all over this album. Oh, so this also happens. The prologue has 500 patches, and unfortunately, when you're writing a patch, it won't tell you if you've already written a patch to that patch number. So I just pulled up 157. It's very different than 157. So what probably happened is I have since overwritten 157 with another patch, which sucks. But that's what you get with hardware. You commit and you've got it, you know? I love that. Doesn't let you overthink and change shit forever. Oh no, oh no, you didn't get flashed. I might have to, all right. Timeout. Timeout. You're getting flashed again. Let me play the part. You're not going to remember any of that vocal song. You've been flashed. I look pretty cool with these, don't I? I found them on the street. It's hard to see the screen, though. Dude, I love this. Heck yes. Thank you for loving this. All right. So, prologue. I use this synth like crazy. I got it 4 years ago. I used it a little bit on Object Impermanence. And then... So are we getting any vocals soon? Haven't heard it. Yeah, that's right. You don't know because I just flashed you and you don't remember anything. You guys all have amnesia now. But unfortunately, I flashed it after we just went over Burn On Reentry, so maybe I'll have to go back. No. 257. Let's see if I overwrote that. No, I did not. I probably tweaked it. So, also happy to go over like chords and stuff and musical theory. Emily, that's the only place I ever buy sunglasses. I find sunglasses. I never buy my own sunglasses. I've got 2 pairs here and I found them both. All right, so yeah, also happy to go over musical theory or whatever. This song's in G minor. I also love, in general, like programming. One of the most fun parts about like doing an album is at the end of it, when you've done all the work, you can like program the album and like figure out the order. And with instrumental music, you can also like do the song titles kind of at the end, which is fun. And so this album ends on G minor. I think this song, Just Out of Frame, is in G minor, as well as Burn On Reentry is. So they like segue into each other well. I'm a big fan of songs in the same keys or like fourths or fifths so that it sounds natural. Like if you have the fifth, like if you hang on a D or whatever at the end of one song and then you go to like E minor and now the D is the seventh of the next song and that kind of stuff. It's really fun. Anyways, let's not solo that. This is a really fun, so this is a looped piano thing. If any of you guys, I don't know if I would recommend it for the price necessarily, because I think this was like $100, but there's this company called Crow Hill, which is really great. It's a guy who used to be at Spitfire, which is also a great company, but he left and they've been creating their own stuff. So this is a fun piano VST. Wow, that's distorting like crazy. And one thing that's the coolest part about it is that it has a little tape looper. is that not looping? That should be looping. Do I have to play? Oh, there we go. I must have to play. So you can hear it just like creates loops. So I did it on this song. I think I used it a lot on, oh, what's it called? Unfixed Position. There's a lot of piano in that middle section that uses that fun loop thing. So you can see, it's kind of like a little built-in tape loop. And then I just resampled that. A little bit of weird panning effects. Yeah, Second Flight. I mean, I've always used soft synths, obviously. Like I started on Logic. I used to be basically 100% in the box. Well, actually, I'll give you a little history on my songwriting and production. So when I started in like 2005, I started on GarageBand. My parents got an iMac, which I no longer use Macs, but started on GarageBand. And I basically was into like classic rock and jazz, and I played saxophone and piano. I grew up playing both of those, took lessons. So basically all of my first projects were covers. So I actually made 2 cover albums of like rock and roll, basically. So a mixture of classic rock and like Bowling for Soup, that kind of stuff. I'll never release it all because it's garbage, but I basically did transcribing. So if anybody knows what transcribing is, you're basically listening to what you hear and then either writing it down, notating it, or in the case of production, just recreating it. So basically just made covers. I did covers of rock, and then I also did 2 Frank Sinatra albums. So I listened to all the horns, played saxophone, did MIDI trumpets, all of that stuff. It was horrible. And I also had this weird voice affectation at the time where I like tried to sound like Frank, but I just ended up sounding like a ridiculous teenager. But anyway, so the reason I brought this up is because that's how I started. And then I slowly built in more soft synths, MIDI, that kind of thing into my process. And then I would say like Past Hypothetical was 90% 100% soft synths, really, outside of samples for drums. That's when I kind of transitioned to using sample-based drums versus like programming them in via synthesizers. And yeah, this is a very winding answer, but I have started using hardware synths. Basically, Object Impermanence was the first record where I started using hardware synths. I used the Mood, the Mark I version of this, and then ran the Prologue through it and just basically created a bunch of loops and stuff, which is really fun, enjoyable for ambient. I will say, I mean, I recorded my piano. I have a piano. I recorded that a lot for Scenes from a Window. So that had some recordings of that in it. But yeah. Anyways, how do you choose keys? We're going to do G minor. Yeah, I mean, that's actually, Lisa, that's another good tangent you bring up, because like I'm a keyboardist, and so I tend to do the same things. I'm sure all keyboardists who are not like masters of, proficiency or whatever, which I'm definitely not, I tend to go to the same shapes and chords and progressions, which is fine. I mean, that you can, develop a sound or a songwriting style like that. But it honestly, I think part of the reason I started going into this hardware synths and like getting into ambient music and different types of genres is like, I just got kind of sick of my own habits. And so with hardware synths, like with this thing, you can basically sequence and compose differently, where you're not working at a keyboard, you're working at, you know, like just a completely different style of programming. So it's been fun and like creatively inspiring for me to do more of that kind of stuff rather than starting at the keyboard. And like I said on my future projects, which you don't remember because I flashed you, I have gone back to the keyboard a little bit, and so that's like a little bit more of my synth pop style. But it's been really refreshing to not work at the keyboard because, yeah, it's so easy to fall into the same shapes and progressions and keys. But as far as like deciding keys, I don't really. It's kind of like wherever it lands. So like G minor is really easy. It has 2 flats. F is a good one. It's more, honestly, with like vocal stuff, it's more about the vocal range. So I used to be able to sing Fs and Gs pretty consistently, high Fs and Gs, but now I land more around like E flats and Ds where I'm more comfortable with, just because I don't sing as much. So I am conscious when I'm writing, like if I'm writing an F, like I'll probably, I mean, if I'm doing like F dominant or whatever, an E flat or an F are probably, you know, the highest I'm going to go in that. But anyways, hope that answers your question, Lisa. Sure, we can talk about live samples, so we can just keep going in on this. Did it change the way you use the keyboard now? Not really. I mean, I still go into, you know, the same habits and everything, but I have gone through periods where I've when I did Recomposure, like I purposefully tried to do more intricate like keyboard stuff. So like, I mean, this doesn't have a good keyboard sound on it, but I mean, it's like way more involved, and there's like a melody built in. Anyways, all right, back to it. Again, prologue, creating my own samples. This is sequenced probably with the Oxy versus played. But actually, that's another good point to bring up. You can hear this is like not quantized because I'm just playing it. But I think quantization is overrated. As long as you have a good groove, like you're not shit basically, and you're not playing it off of the beat too far, I would take a sloppy beat that has a groove over like a fully quantized beat any day. I think most people just probably instinctually do. We just abuse quantization. Where is the lead in this? Bass, prologue. Prologue is everywhere. I've honestly thought of buying another synth because I feel like I've milked this thing dry. That is Omnisphere. Compressed to shit. Couple layers. You can hear it slamming the compressor pretty hard. Sidechain. Pro R I love as a reverb. It's good for just basic room reverbs. Omnisphere again. Let's see how many layers. I'm pretty sure that bum bum bum, which is like a constant through this song, is like a bunch of layers. Let's see. It's like a gated thing, sounds like. Yep. Yep, so this is probably... I'm not sure what synth that was, but just using some gate to sound design. Kind of fun. Oh, and there's another nice omnisphere, or pigments, actually. Yeah? There's a lot of layers in this. It's also fun because it's in 3/4. By the way, is anybody else like does anybody else make music? Yeah, I don't know. Comes down. I don't really know what to showcase other than my messy projects. Kick. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Clap. 1, 2. Clap. 1, 2. Clap. You can see it's in 3/4 up here. It's also fun to just start muting stuff. Also, tip, if anybody is a producer out there and they have like they're getting stuck on something that I do a lot is, I think a lot of people probably have this problem, is like you add too much stuff and it conflicts. So if you're ever in that case where you're like stuck and you don't know what to do, it always helps to just start stripping stuff away. That's another way. That's a super easy way. Another blah 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 blah. People get stuck in like 16 bar loops. I know a lot, including myself. And to make the next section, it for me, another a way to do that is always just copy a few elements, but not all of the elements, and then redo whatever elements you didn't copy over with like a different flavor. So whether or not that's drums, or like if generally if you're doing a new section, you want to change the chords or something, or I do generally. So maybe you bring over the drums or some of the drums, but then don't bring over, you know, the melody or the bass line or whatever. So that's a really easy way to like make sure you keep developing the song rather than just getting stuck with a 16 bar loop. Oh, there's something creative in everybody, Rynan. I really do believe that. You might just not know how it manifests, but everybody's creative in their own way. Nice, Lisa. I love singing. Singing is very human. All right. I don't know. There's not much else to talk on this one, unless anybody else wants to hear anything. So let's go back. Dyadic, I think, is the next one backwards. Oh, wow. Making a new DAW. Wow. How has that been? How are you doing that? I know nothing about computer programming, so I don't even know where you would start with that. But also, why are you making a new DAW? Like, what is the... is there something... Is it just like a challenge, or is there something about other DAWs that you wish they did that they don't, that you want to develop? It's like a very... It seems like a very ambitious side project, so curious. All right. So this is Dyadic. This was the last song done on the record. In fact, the record was going to be 11 songs, and then I just had fun with this one. And so the reason this is called Dyadic is because there's this plugin called Dyad, which I'm not actually going to open because it crashes my computer a lot. I don't know if it's just an outdated version. I probably just need to update it. But it's basically like an Electron style dual mono synth where it has like a built-in sequencer. So it's really fun to just have two elements kind of competing. You can FM them through each other. You can make them different lengths, like the sequence lengths different. So it's really fun in that way. So this is Dyad, the plugin. I love how like noisy it is. Sounds like a hardware synth. This is also Dyad. Just chopped up. All of this is audio. I just bounced all of it to audio. I love how hard this hits. Chopped up. So you can see, I mean, it's very simple. There's only what? Yeah, there's literally 4 tracks in this beginning. Little chord thing. That sounds like the prologue. Yeah. With a little auto filter or LFO tool on it. This is also in 3/4, and then it goes to 4/4 later. Little melodic section. There's not a lot of harmony and melody. Oh, hey Theo. Thanks, man. My good friend Theo. I feel like there's a hole in the DAW market. Ardour, never heard of that. Yeah, so I don't know much about Pro Tools. Pro Tools is like more, I've heard good things about its comping. I think it's like really good for like live musicians, right? So is that kind of what you're going for? More of like a comping live DAW? I'll have to check out Ardour. Yeah, so we got a little melodic section here. Again, just chopped up the Dyad, threw a high pass on it. Somewhere, yeah. Also, another really fun thing in Ableton, I guess I didn't do it this way. I could literally manually chop that up. I rarely do that. One thing you can do, like if I throw a sample in, let's do a closed hi-hat. You'll hear I do this a lot. It's kind of a cheat code. In Ableton, it's got a really good, it's got a couple fun warp modes. So like, I'm just gonna warp it. And then if you go to texture and then you double it, it basically is like a little granulizer. So that's achieving the same result that I did there. It's just kind of chopping it up. So it's fun. It's like, it's great to do rolls. Like if you're doing like a snare, like I think in Lights Beneath the Water, there's like a snare build up. Also in Never Far. And you can automate the volume to make it, and then you can occasionally do this little warp thing where it makes it sound like a drum roll, which is really fun. Anyways. What else? This is like an ambient thing. Probably made with, might have been Omnisphere right here, actually. Whoa! Yep. So then I probably just resampled that and looped that. I hope that didn't blow anybody's ears. Bad Omnisphere. Pigments. Yeah, that's the bulk of the pad here. Just a nice little sparkly sine wave thing. What else? I mean, Utility is a good little gain plugin. Jolt, that's like it's made by the same people that make the Dyad thing, the Dyad monosynth. It's like a distorter. If I throw it on, it's going to be horrible. Actually, that's not too bad. Just add some distortion. Looks like I bypassed it for the final take. Yeah, and you can see like this is, I didn't actually bounce this to audio, which is rare for this record. I feel like I bounced most stuff to audio. Little saturator, fab filter. I like this one because you can, it's like a multi-band. I don't know why that's there. And then you can basically throw on different drive. I didn't do it in this case, but you can select different drive modes. I don't know, it's very tweakable. I wiped your ears and your memory earlier, Ryan. Nice. Always support the good free DAW second flight. Best of luck on it. Let me know when it's done and I'll take a look at it. I'm not in the market of switching DAWs right now, but never say never. Yeah, free DAW. It's noble, man. Or woman. If I say man, I say that parochially. That's not the right word. Casually. Please don't take offense if you are not a man. This is dyad, so chopped up. Oh, I think I do the... Yep, there it is. There it is. Let's take a look. What do you know? Texture. BPM 480, which means I stretched it. There's that drum roll trick. I mean, yeah, the bulk of this song is like, how many tracks is this? This song is only 45 tracks. Very, very few. Look how much work that one dyad is doing. There's like nothing else. Hey, Brindle. Heck yes. Fiction in the Fire, baby. Hope you're doing well too. Thanks for joining. Reverb tail on this guy. Everybody knows the old reverb tail trick. One of the oldest tricks in the book. Throw on a big 20-second reverb and let it ride. What else? I mean, this is dyad. This whole thing is dyad, aka hence the dyadic title. Build into a 4/4, so a new groove. Dyad loop. Where's the bass line? Again, if only I was better at labeling. I love this bass line. Must be on the yeah, so the jolt you can hear giving it, it's a distortion basically, very simple, but it's giving it a lot of top end. You can hear it's like a lot of just slices. So rather than working with MIDI, I'm just slicing it up. Like Guy Fieri. A choppa da cinta. Emily. How many are named after synths? Lyra, Dyadic. I think that's it. But the whole space theme, I mean, Lyra is a constellation. That's also why I named it Lyra. It's like it's one of the original constellations. I think it might have been in one of my time lapses. I'm not sure. And then dyadic is like, I don't know, like gravity, you know, the two body problem of dyadic. I don't know. It's just a cool word. So, all right. Again, let's see. All the work is being done by these two basses. Very simple song in that way, which is nice because a lot of songs just get bloated. Just some nice textury things. Where's the yeah, kept this as MIDI. Pigments. Any issues, by the way, with like delay? Like, is my voice aligned with the video and the computer audio? Is there any delay issues? Because I think I can tweak some of that in OBS. So this part, very much inspired by Ross with Friends. He's a producer. I'm not gonna play any because I don't want to get this flagged. But he's got a very raw sound, raw house type sound. So I was kind of going for that here. Again, if I mute this, pretty flat, huh? It's all bass line. Sweet. Glad the timing's good. Not even a lot of drums in this. Very basic. But it's good to have some of those songs. Excuse me. Yeah, what else is there to say? Pretty dyad heavy song. Pretty simple song in a way. But it's got a groove. Good, good. No delay. All right, that's dyadic. What comes before that? Lights Beneath the Water? No, Unfixed Position. Which I don't like to say, yeah, that any projects fall out of favor in my head. I like to think that I love them all, but as you can see, there are a lot of different versions of this, and by the end of it, I was ready to delete it from my hard drive. So I still love the ending of this song. I'll pull it up here. I just kind of got sick of it. I didn't know how to, it was kind of boring, and hopefully it's not still boring, but we'll pull it up here. We can at least talk about the ending, because the ending is my favorite part. Let's see. Also, I think there's a way for me to share the live chat, but I don't want to like break it. What happens if I do this? Can you see the live chat now on the screen? You probably can. What if I put it over here? Some people say it's fun to do this. I don't know if YouTube lets you like replay the live chat. I think it does, but maybe I'll just keep it over here. Oh no, but then I can't do that. What if I do, can I pin it? You're on TV. Let me, if there's any privacy issues, if you don't want me sharing this live chat, I am more than happy to, oh yeah, it is probably small because I'm on a 4K monitor. Why don't I just keep it over here? I don't want to embarrass anybody. All right. So this is Unfixed Position. I'm just going to talk about the end. I think I mentioned it earlier, but there's that piano from Crow Hill in here somewhere, vertical piano. It's easier than just recording my piano. Omnisphere for some fun guitars. here we go. So this is that piano. I just used the loop and then it chopped it up. I think that's all audio at this stage, so I cannot prove that, but that's what this is. I like this melody. That sounds like probably Pigments. And then we got some bass lines. Just chopped up. If we solo all those. Where's the actual bass? So a lot of Pigments. I've used Serum in the past for a lot of my bass sound designs, and I have Synths with Serum 2 on my next stuff. But Pigments was fun on this one. Also, like, I do not claim to be like I'm not like a bass sound designer. I definitely do not know how to do like all of that virtual variety stuff, but it's fun. I feel like you can make up for some of that by layering, and then like also doing like a lot of splices and stuff to just kind of, so rather than doing like one crazy bass patch, you can kind of, you know, layer and patch stuff together. Like that thing. Like that little bell, you know, is layered on that. Wherever that. Where is the bass? There. So, I don't know. Let's see what's on that. It's just Pigments, basically. Probably just a modified patch. Yeah. I probably just did a preset, basically, on that. Yeah, that's a audio capture of Pigments probably, and then did I do the texture trick? Yep. This one does not have Who's Inside references. I think you're thinking of a more recent one, Emily, that I'm not going to talk about because it's secret and your memory has been wiped. Anyways, I don't know. I fell out of favor with this song a little bit. I hope you like it, though. I like the ending of it. I just got sick of it. Also, you can generally, like, yeah, this has 121 tracks. Generally speaking, like, the more tracks that a song has, the more I hate it by the end of it. Because it's usually gone through tons and tons of edits and deletions and all that stuff. Not always, but generally. All right, Lights Beneath the Water. We're trucking here. This one I started with on the Digitakt. So I don't have the, like I said at the beginning, I don't know how to make OBS work with like a mixture of software, like Ableton and hardware. So I'm not gonna, other than like the Prologue, I probably could just hook it up to like a separate audio channel. But the point I'm trying to make is Lights Beneath the Water was done, with a loop I did on the Digitakt. So it's basically a sampler. I think I sampled, I don't even remember what I sampled. to start it. Let's see here. I think I might have just been the digitone. I might have just been playing with those two together. But this next Lights Beneath the Water was basically, that is the bed, the base of it. If this loads. Hope everybody's doing well today. Yeah, so that, you can hear it's kind of wobbly and very noisy. That is definitely run through the Lyra to give it that warmth, that analog warmth. Same thing. No, this is just timeless. Where is the actual? Okay. There. Yeah, so this is a loop on the Digitect. It's got like, I don't know, probably 4 tracks in it. So it's got that little clave. It's got the woo, 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 which I broke out separately down there. And I don't know, the whole thing had like an underwater vibe to me, which is where the name comes on this one. I also like the visual of like, again, we're going with the whole space thing. So like if you're like orbiting a planet and there's like water and you're seeing lights underneath the water, I don't know, kind of a cool visual. That bass, again, that weird reverb, that's the Lyra. I probably ran... That might actually just be the Lyra. You know what? Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna try to set up. This might be a horrible idea. Give me 1 minute and see if I can do this. Audio input. I hope this isn't a disaster. So I've got a patch bay here. So put the Lyra into, I think that's 8 at 9. Can you hear that? No. What is that? That is 8 at 3, not 8 at 9. No. Yeah, I'll have to get better at this. Oh no, that's, hold on. Analog 3/4. I don't want analog, I want 8 at. Yay! Does that work? Oh no. Weird reverb. I hope you can hear the Lyra now. And I hope it's not only in your left ear. This is total mix, so this is basically how I'm monitoring. Like I've got my mic here, which I can monitor, and then I've got loop back set up, which is how you can hear Ableton. Left ear only, goddamn. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna bother you with the left ear only thing, but because that's really painful. I don't think I can make this mono. Can I make this mono? Properties. Mono. I think that should be mono now. So I've recorded some, it won't be happy when I bring up the distortion. Plugging my YouTube channel, I've recorded some jams. I think I've recorded a few things with the Lyra in the past, but it's basically a fun, like, touch-based synth. So it has these little sensors, and you can tune them. So I'm off track here, but I've made this bass. The reason I brought this up, that bass is just that, basically. Anyways, I'm off topic. I'm getting into jam territory, and that's not the point of this stream. So I'm just going to turn that off. All right, back to the task at hand. That's the Digitact, same loop, just tweaked. Is there still a weird reverb on my voice? I hope that was just like as I was messing with settings. I don't know. Yes, I do sometimes sequence it. I don't as much, to be honest with you, because it's kind of a pain. You basically have to like set up. I mean, we can do it. There's this thing called external instrument. Although again, with OBS, I already have the prologue directly feeding in. So I think you're gonna get double here, but you basically send, I also have like a MIDI splitter thing. Okay, no more reverb. But yeah, you could punch in MIDI. And that's now the prologue. You can see the vector scope or whatever it's called, oscilloscope. But yeah, I don't do that as much. I mean, it's fun to start a jam with and then like export the audio. But that's another thing is like if you do that, you're kind of working with MIDI, but also a hardware synth. So like you have to basically record it to actually capture the audio. So if I do that, which I have done, but if I do that, I'll generally just delete the MIDI information, the MIDI track. There's like a bell thing here. That's the prologue. Yeah, this is called prologue, but this is not the prologue. It's Omnisphere. Anyways, this part's fun. I don't have the drums grouped very well. It's fun to solo stuff. Halftime. Boom, 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 boom. Do you guys have like any favorite tracks so far from either album? This Time with Feeling or Peripheries? I mean, I can keep going. I feel like I'm not going too in depth because I'm trying not to get like sound designy and jammy. Just trying to show you the flavor of and talk about how I made these. Let's skip to Best Not to Know. This one was done sequenced. This one was mostly sequenced on the Oxy. So the MIDI, what that means is the MIDI information comes from the Oxy, and then I basically give that MIDI information to other synths to actually make the song. All of them? Oh, come on. That's a cop-out. Give me your top two. Top two songs. It's a sweet answer, but I need names. Give me names. You know what? I'm going to play this, and I'm going to get more ice. I will be right back. Behave while I'm gone. No, before I get ice, you need to hear the song. I didn't do the loop back. There. You should be able to hear it now. Nice. Peaceful Together was inspired by time with my wife, Emily. So I'm glad you like it, Emily. Active stuff, yeah. For sure. Yeah, this is like the pretty one from Peripheries. I always like, in general, to like have between albums have tracks that could be put on multiple albums. I think that's kind of fun. Tarantino does that actually in his movies. Like I've noticed, like the way that he bridges movies, there's always like a carried over element. So like with like whether it's an actor or a movie like Django Unchained to Hateful Eight, like they're both Westerns, but they kind of evolve. Anyways, that's a tangent. But like the point is, this song, I feel like I could have put this on either this album or This Time with Feeling. So it's like a little bit of a bridge. Frey from Scenes from a Window was another one that like kind of bridged to Object and Permanence. I didn't realize it at the time because I hadn't made Object and Permanence, but it's always nice to not have an album be like 100% one thing, so that there's a little bit of bleed into the other projects you do, at least in my opinion. So yeah, the MIDI here, all of this craziness, this was the Oxy, and I basically programmed it on the Oxy and then just recorded the MIDI information into Ableton and then threw Pigments on top of it and then layered the shit out of it. Did a little bit of good old panning, which is underrated as a tool. A little bit of stereo pan. God, it's good. Stereo pan with like a slightly different sound in each side. Two chords here. 4, minor 2, 4, minor 2, 4, minor 2. There's a fluty thing. There it is again. Another thing that's fun about the Oxy as a sequencer is that you can program a certain level of randomness. So like you can put in like can make it like jump an octave randomly, or, you know, there's like an element of randomness, which is fun. I think Ableton 12 now has some random tools to MIDI where you can introduce some randomness. I've started playing around with it. I haven't done too much, but that is fun with the Oxy. Where's this flute? Yeah, so this is the prologue. It says it's 05. Yeah. Layered with an actual flute. Sounds like from Pigments. So put them both together and it gives you a nice like rich flute. Anyways. Nice. Yeah, I didn't want to like just play the songs. Happy to if you want. This one has a little bit of chaos in this next section. Again, probably randomness from the Oxy. Like this is the Oxy, and I recorded some synth to audio. Not sure which synth. Sounds like maybe the prologue. This song is just like an experiment in layering, basically. Oh, here we go. Yep. See this craziness? This is the type of shit you don't do on a keyboard. It's the type of stuff you get from some other kind of sequencer. And then I think, yeah, so I basically probably programmed this. And then I just tweaked Pigments as it was playing, and then just recorded the automation. So it gives it a nice variability as it plays rather than just a static sound. Same thing here. I did bounce this to audio, it looks like. The swell, I don't usually like to do this, but the swell is literally just Pro R on the master. Right there. I usually don't like doing that because you lose control, but I got lazy. I think it works. Steve Reich was a big inspiration for this song, as well as Sun Showers. Like the phasing. There's not too much phasing on this, but I was kind of going for that 16th note type thing. Mixing. Yeah, mixing is, mixing is something you never master. Sometimes, honestly, like I think my mixes are shit. Sometimes I'm happy with them. It's never something you're going to be like satisfied with, at least in my experience. As far as tips go, I mean, you've heard the old low pass everything. I've heard people say that you shouldn't do that because of like phasing, but honestly, I think there's something to be said for that. Like you want everything to have its own warmth to it. You don't want to make everything hollow. So you don't want to go overboard, but that's definitely an easy thing to do. But like that's an easy way to make space for the bass. Another thing I've started recently doing on the vocals stuff I'm working on is when Pro Q4, you can basically do like spectral sidechaining. So what that means is you can, if you don't want something to interfere, and you can do this with anything, if you don't like, let me just do it here. It's a good. So if I throw, I mean, this was Pro Q3 before I bought Pro Q4. But if I just throw this on here as my, this is, so I'm going to basically, I want to duck the frequencies of another thing to make room for this flute. So this is going to be a stupid example, but let's say let's say this bass is like interfering with the flute, this bass group. So I'm going to go sidechain, select 35, because that's the flute track. And then I'm going to go sidechain. Yep. Oops. No. Ah! And then I'm going to go there. It should be working. What am I missing? Oh, you have to actually, that's the one thing that's annoying. If you solo it, it won't show it. So that is the flute. So it's cutting the flute frequency out of the bass. So like that's something, if you have a lot of competing elements, also general mix tip, don't throw too many things in the same frequency. If you have too many things hovering around the same, that's probably just an arrangement problem rather than a mixing problem. So that's always a good kind of like what I was saying earlier is cut. Like if you're getting to the place where your mix is muddy and you don't know what to do, just start cutting stuff. That's always a good trick. Like view it as like an arrangement issue, not a mixing thing. But if there is a case where you have something competing, like if you have a baritone like myself, where it's kind of in the mid-range and there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the mid-range, you can do something like this to help make room for it. And yeah, this is basic Second Flight. This is like Soothe. I don't have Soothe, but that's what it basically does, I believe. So that's a mixing tip. I don't know if that helps. Basically, top 3 takeaways: remove elements. You know, cut bass frequencies and any excess frequencies that are not important to the sound as you can. Just don't go overboard, and then do something like this, like sidechain. Anyways, yeah, best not to know. I'm gonna keep moving. I was kind of tentatively thinking like 2 hours for this stream, so let's go to Lyra, because I love this song. Yeah, Second Flight, I agree with you. Like, another general thing that I like to do is keep stuff, like, when I'm, like, specifically with my voice, make it as dry as possible. So you don't want it to be actually dry, but put a reverb on it. Put a reverb on almost everything, by the way, but just make them really dry. Make it a really short tail reverb, which gives it a room instead of being completely, in the ether, no room going on. That's another trick. Short reverbs with not a lot of mix on the reverb. That's obviously my opinion, but that's something I find that helps. Boop-a-doo. Thanks for joining, everybody. This has been fun. haven't done this in a long time. But I'm trying to do more videos on my YouTube. So subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I'm sure everybody here already has, but it's been fun. Trying to involve people more into my process, because I know I don't share a lot, because I do honestly find music making for me is very personal, and like I like to do it without outside pressures. But obviously I'm trying to like grow an audience, so you can't be completely secretive. So this is a fun one. So the reason you're seeing all of these long audio files is because this was started on my other PC, which I had until April. So I built a new PC last April, so a year ago, like not 2 months ago. And it wasn't compatible. I was getting a bunch of errors. So what I ended up doing is bouncing everything to audio and then re-importing it into my new computer, and then just basically finishing it off in this computer. And that works because I like audio now. I'm an audio convert, not MIDI. So I also like MIDI. I don't mean to hate on MIDI. I'm not prejudiced against MIDI. Got to turn the loop back on. This might be the last one I'm going to talk about. We'll see. I'm getting a little, honestly, a little fatigued by entertaining. But this one's fun. So this was done, this bass line, oh my God, that's blasted to hell. This is on the Digitone. So this is my Electron, which I've done some jams on. Go check out my YouTube. Sequenced it on the Electron and then ran it through the Lyra, hence the title of the song, the Lyra. So the Lyra is what gives it, if you listen closely, that little shh, that is the delay on the Lyra. I'm just playing it. As the Digitone is playing, I'm tweaking the Digitone and tweaking the Lyra, which gives it all of this little life. MIDI is not mid. MIDI is a great invention. I'm just in my audio phase. It was a good joke, though. Very good joke. Yeah. Sidechain is built in because I exported it. That's one thing I don't like about Ableton. I wish you could, when you're bouncing tracks, you could select to bypass sidechain on the stems. Maybe there's a way to do that. As far as I'm aware, you can't. So it basically prints your sidechain to your audio, which kind of sucks. But anyways, yeah, this song is like the Digitone, baby. It's like all it is. If I kind of like Dyad. Wow. What a song. I mean, I probably could have just muted this and this would be the track. White noise like crazy. It's all audio. That thing, where is it? Where is that pad? Wait, can you hear this? Oh yeah, you can't hear the track. Oops. That's embarrassing. Anyways, what I was saying when it was muted is this is all the Digitone. And without that, you can't like hear anything. Technical issues. Is that it? No. Yeah, there it is. That is the Cosmos. I don't know really what to say anymore. These are the tracks. These are the project files. This one is very John Hopkins inspired. If anybody's ever listened to Open Eye Signal, that's probably one of the most listened songs I've ever listened to. I wish maybe Spotify has that information. Like, what are your most listened to songs? I put that on all the time. It's so hypnotic. So I was kind of going for that here. Another kick comes in. Again, running the kick through the lyra to give it that dirtiness. I mean, most of these are empty because they're just stems. Kind of a hard track to show. Different section here. I love this frickin' section. Again, digitone bass line. Run through the lyra to give it that weirdness, that distortion. Just tweaked it as I recorded. I love this like Lydian dominant thing. Lydian and Lydian dominant are my favorite modes. Do you have any favorite modes? What are your favorite modes? Do you guys know what modes are? Scales, basically. I'm losing it, guys. I think I'm running out of juice here. Any last requests before we wrap this up? It's been fun. It's been very fun. Thank you all for coming. Like I said, I've got a lot of fun stuff on the way too. So more music to come this year and next. Maybe I'll do Chaos in the Cockpit last. I hope everything sounded good. I think everything, any technical issues, hoping there weren't too many. Nice. Thanks, Second Flight. So this is another, you guessed it, it's the lyra. It's I ran some bass through the lyra to give it that weird grittiness. Oh, this is a fun little fun fact. That that thing. If I can find it. That's it. I don't know if anybody here listens to Badlands Chugs or know what Badlands Chugs is. He's a YouTuber that does he's great, and he does like chugs. He's like a professional chugger, so like he will drink like 10 liters of Diet Coke in like 30 seconds. And I was just having fun doing sampling. And so I sampled him on a video. Whoa! Is that manipulator?
Still a cope.
Hold on.
Still a cope. Still a cope.
That's Badland Chugs, baby.
Still a cope.
It's still a Coke. Whatever the hell he's saying.
Still a cope.
So that's what that is. Fun sample. And then, yep, just tones. I love these warp modes. They're so great for sound design. What else? This, I don't know. I don't know what else to say on this. That bass line is I think I OTT'd the shit out of this to give it all that white noise. Basically another way to do the Lyra in the box. A little bit of Rain, which I recorded back in like 2017. I used this sample on False Work as well, that album. So this, I believe, is the LXR run through the Lyra, and then I just tweaked it. I just love how raw it is. Prologue, just manually played, tweaked. Made it sound as nasty as possible. Well. Just that kind of thing, recording it as I tweak it. I'm just gonna let this one play. This is where I'm going to leave you all. Thank you for coming. I'll do this again. Thank you for listening to the album. Thank you for supporting my music. I really do appreciate it. Sincerely. And I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.